Okay, guys, hey, welcome to the Adelphos channel. I just wanted to show you guys the graphics settings here because this game is pretty heavy on the graphics. It's pretty intense. It's a little hard on computers, especially medium range gaming computers. So I have a 2070 Super is what I have for my graphics card, and this is on ultra settings right here, and you can see I'm getting about 40 frames a second, but my GPU is pretty much maxed out at 99. CPU is doing okay, about 50%. So let's head on into the settings. And one thing real quick, let's just take a look around and actually see what this game looks like. You know, as you're looking around, looking at the neon signs, looking at the fog coming off down there by the neon signs, looking at how blurry people are in the distance, off in the corner as that car drives by. Take a look at some of that stuff. Let's get up close and let's take a look at these facial features right here. Okay, so we're seeing him. So check this out. Watch this. We're going to go ahead and we're going to go into settings. Let's turn off film grain. Let's turn off chromatic aberration, depth of field. We can leave lens flare on, and then let's drop off motion blur. Okay, so we were getting 40 frames a second, right? We said. Well, like I said, this was all on ultra, and also with crowd density high and the slow HD mode off. So now take a look at his face. Look at the difference. Almost immediately, you can see it looks a lot better just by turning off those settings. Basically
It's for a friend.
These things right here, the film grain, the chromatic aberration, the depth of field, and the motion blur, they just add too many effects on top, and it just doesn't make the game look good. The game, I personally feel, looks better like this. He looks sharper, he looks cleaner, and I think he looks better. You look around. Now let's take a look at these. Look at this. See, look at in the background and everything. Look at the chair, the trees, the car driving by, again, the people in the background. I think this looks a lot better. So that's the first thing I think to drop off. And then how we doing frame wise? Oh, frame wise 41 to 43. So we got a little slight bump in FPS just from doing that. It's not massive or anything, you know, we're not crushing it or anything. But right there, that's pretty huge just off that. Now, one funny thing is, if you're using the quick preset and you put it on ultra, I noticed it turned off ray tracing. What the heck's up with that? It also turned off the DLSS. So now if you got an NVIDIA card, this DLSS is like, wow, super good. Like, it really helps with just with the performance of the game and everything. Let's turn it on balanced. Let's turn the ray tracing on, but let's keep the ray tracing reflections off and the shadows off, and let's just see what we get here. We'll turn the ray tracing lighting on to medium. So here's a little bump, but now with the DLSS, let's take a look at what we got. Now look, now we're up to 50 frames a second. So we got another FPS bump right there just by turning on the DLSS, even though we also turned on ray tracing. So we turned on ray tracing, and already we're getting a bump up to, there we go, 50, 51, depending on what's going on around us and everything. And graphically, this is a graphically intense area. There's lots of stuff going on. There's cars moving around. There's people walking around. People look better. Look at this. You can see the ray tracing working on her clothing. You can see how shiny her clothes are and everything. That those reflections off of her clothes, looking good. Look at here we go. Look at this girl's jacket, the see-through jacket that she's got on. That's pretty intense. Look at that. And my GPU also isn't maxed out at 99 anymore. Now it's going between 96 and 98. You know. So CPU's a little more intense. That bumped up the CPU on how it's doing. So you can see, and look at the reflections there in the water there on the ground. So right there's a few quick things you can do. Now you want to get this thing even higher. Let's go up higher on the FPS and whatnot. See, if we drop down anisotropy, the cascading, a lot of people are reporting the cascaded shadows. If you turn those down just to medium, you'll get a bump in your FPS. Let's go ahead and let's see. Well, there was that one foggy area we were looking at where the smoke was rising up in front of those neon signs. If we just turn this down to high, let's see if there's that much of a difference. Let's leave all those still on ultra. Let's leave that on ultra. Let's leave all those. Ambient occlusion. Let's see if we can bust that down to medium, and let's see if that has any major effects. So let's see. Oh, see, now my GPU's not working as hard. 93, 94, 96. So that's a lot better on my GPU to drop it down a little bit like that. Here's the area. You can see the fog's still there. It does look a little bit less, but it's still there, and it still looks pretty good. So I guess that's up to you. You want to mess around with some of those settings right there that I just showed you. Still getting 50. Now it's holding a little more steady on the 50 frames a second. Do I have it capped? I don't think I have it capped. Let's head on over to video. I do have it capped. Let's bring this up to 60. So here's another thing. If you're worried about your GPU getting all maxed out and everything, turning on the maximum FPS here and then capping it yourself will really save your GPU from busting out too high. So now we're getting 53 frames a second, but look, now my GPU's back up to 98%. So by capping it down, maybe for like, so say I'm trying to stream, and so I want to make sure that I'm, you know, have a little bit more extra GPU power, hitting it down to that. But here's another thing though. Let's go ahead and show you this, what this DLSS can really do. So if we go ahead and switch that over to ultra performance, and then we took off the cap on the frame, or well, we raised the cap up to 80. So let's go ahead and see where we're at now. Now we're getting 66, 68. Same area. Let's walk around a little bit. Dropped a little bit below 60 right there. 65. Look at my GPU too. I'm only using 90% of my GPU. CPU's up a little bit higher. It's kind of bumping around at the top, so maybe that's a concern for you, depending on what you're doing. If you're recording or if you're, you know, trying to stream or anything like that. But you can see here, there's a few of the settings right there that I think you mess around with those ones. That's where you're going to find your balance. You want the game to look good? Turn off these. Turn off film grain, chromatic aberration, depth of field. Turn that off. Turn off motion blur. Let's see about these ones real quick. See if that does any bump there. And now we're getting 70 if we just do that. Now, as you can see, the shadow thing did make a little bit of a difference. This is kind of a bright area, and the shadows aren't exactly great. Here we're looking at the shadow of that chair. That smoke looks pretty good, though, coming from her smoking. Let's see. Let's go take a look around a bit more. You see all the smoke coming up there in front of the neon signs. That looks really good. So, see, I think these are pretty good settings right here. 63, 65 FPS. And so basically all we've really done is we turned off these three things, maybe turn off those two. The only things you really need to bump down, I guess, are the cascading shadows, maybe the ambient occlusion. Keep your ray tracing on. You want ray tracing because it looks amazing. But maybe instead of doing like ray tracing ultra, maybe just go down to medium. Let's see what the difference is with the ultra here. Not too much of a hit. And does it really look that much better? I don't know. I think you might be fine with the medium. Looking at his shadow. So there we go. I don't know. Those are some of the settings I've been messing with. There you go. You can see the reflections in the water right there for the ray tracing. So those are some of the settings I've been messing with. Basically, I'm probably going to be running this at probably auto, probably medium right there. I'm probably going to cap my frames down at 50 maybe 55. Let's see what 55 is. Oh, so for streaming purposes, since I'm streaming this game or recording this game, that's about where I'm at. So GPU is still a little bit high, but no worries. So anyways, there you guys go. That's those are kind of my little things to look for, I think, when you're messing around with these settings on Cyberpunk. And the game still looks great, I think. You can see some good reflections there. Character models look good. Yeah, she looks real good. Good detail on the outfits. So anyways, all right guys, yeah, thanks for checking out the video. If you guys found it helpful, like. If it's not helpful at all, you know, thumbs down. If you guys find something different that might help even more, you know, leave a comment down, and who knows, maybe I'll make a second video. I mean, I've done that before. So I'm streaming right now every Friday and Saturday night. So let's see. Thanks for watching, guys.